Welcome back to a Deeper Dig conversation series, episode 22. The artist that I have on display, he's an artist that I've grown to respect, not just as an artist and a creative, but as a friend. You know, he's someone that I've been checking out for a while, but it took me a while to get introduced to his work just because of the creative process and just kind of getting introduced to who he is. But, you know, I'm repping his hat. He's doing a lot of different creative things that I'm very excited to see. So, Jammy, so happy to have you on, man.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. We are outside.
Yes, sir. We are outside with it. So, one of the first questions I always love to ask is, how would you describe yourself as a person? You're not just a creative, but you're also, like, in a way, a visionary, and you just have different ways of sharing your stories. So, how would you describe yourself as a person?
I think as a person overall, I'd like to say like I'm really empathetic and I really like working on things. So like I have a really strong passion for creating stuff. So of any medium, whether it's like creating food, whether it's creating a video, whether it's creating a song, I just love creating things. So like I just have such a strong passion for that, and that kind of drives and informs a lot of my decisions. Is just like chasing that creative like urge. So I think that's something I would describe myself as, just someone that really likes to create. And of course, you know, beyond that, I'm a person. I'm a son. I'm a brother. You know, I think those are the things that also are really important. Family's super important to me. So I come from like a really great, strong family. So it's just, you know, really a blessing. So I think that really informs like my overall base of like how I go about life and how I attack things.
Absolutely. And for you, what was that first, like, kind of quick trigger that got you introduced to music? Like, any artist that you felt like kind of drove that passion for you to pursue music?
I think actually, so I've been doing theater since I was like a really little kid. My mom was a theater teacher, so because of that, she had me doing like musicals, playing violin, piano, all these different things. So I was always exposed to so much art as a kid. And I did a lot of theater, and I love performing. Like, performing is kind of my favorite aspect of music. And so like I'd done that, and then I think and I was like, always when you're performing these records that are not records, but these, you know, musical numbers that are like by someone else. Mm-hmm. So you're getting this crowd reaction, and you're getting this feeling of performing and doing the solos and all these things. And it's like, wow, that'd be really cool if it was something that was like my own work. But I never really thought about like doing it. I thought it'd be cool to do that, but it's not something like I had really grown to do. And then I saw my brother, he had a band, and they were writing their own music and performing it, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like, just seeing like people like your brother kind of create something like that is super, super fire. So that was really inspiring to me, just to see him do that. And then what really made me want to get into like rap and hip hop was there's a very specific Lil Wayne documentary for I think it's No Ceilings, the first one. A very specific documentary, and I want to say it's by I don't want to mess up who it is, but it's a legendary like videographer that was doing it back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
You know you know what I'm talking about. What's it called? Whatever it is, but the Lil Wayne No Ceilings documentary, and just seeing the way he put that project together, to this day I know every single word of the album. Like, that's like that was like one of the most pivotal moments, and then that's kind of what inspired me to start rapping. I think one of my first songs was like a remix of like I'm Single by Lil Wayne. Mm-hmm. And so that was a big one for me. And then I saw Chance the Rapper live for his first show in the Bay Area.
That must have been life-changing.
At Regency Hall. It sold out, and I was just like, oh wow. This shit, you don't have to, you know what I mean? It was like, you know, of course, listening to Lil Wayne, like, yeah, I like Lil Wayne, but like, I can't make Lil Wayne music. You know what I mean? So it's like seeing someone like Childish Gambino, seeing someone like Chance the Rapper, seeing some of these other alternative hip hop acts actually come out, like Frank, like Tyler, like all these different things. You're able to kind of like, oh, I can do some shit like that. Yeah. So that's kind of what was like the big inspo that kind of like led me down the path, for sure.
Yeah. And POV, there will be bikers here. I love and respect all of them.
We love it.
We love it.
Get your health in. Health is wealth 2025.
So, dude, I wanted to mention this to you. Like, I feel like hip hop right now is in an interesting space, just because there's a lot of different inspirations across various genres.
For sure.
Taken. It's not just pure hip hop, but also you see like hip hop taking inspiration from pop, taking inspiration from indie, and a lot of different genres. So for you, how do you kind of add that factor into making your music multi-genre?
For sure. I think for me, it becomes less of like a conscious effort to be like, oh, I want to make multi-genre music. Instead, it's kind of like, oh, that's crazy. There's a hell of them. These dudes are running through. Go crazy.
Enjoy the bikers.
Wow.
I'm about to lie. We should, Tony. I kind of want to keep this. I want to keep this.
Just let it run. Just let it run. Get your health up. See, I wish I had the balls to do that. Like, I kind of like would be scared.
Nah.
Real.
No, okay. So this is funny. So when we first got here, there was no bikers, and then as soon as we got here, there was all bikers. Yeah. I want to keep all of this.
You just gotta keep it. It's real. It's just real. We outside. Boys are out.
Yeah,
it's never perfect. But we're talking about what was
Like
it?
hip, like
How
multi-genre.
Yeah, no, I don't consciously like. I'm not like going in the studio necessarily consciously like, oh, I want to like make multi-genre music. It's just like I like different shit, and I think everybody today likes different stuff. I think like, you know, like 10 20 years ago, it's like people like record labels and industry would give you the hits. They would be like, this is what you're gonna listen to and this is what's hot right now. You know, it catches a little bit of organic buzz, but it's like they kind of decide what's going crazy. But now it's like we listen to playlists or we listen to Spotify algorithms and we listen to all these different things, and that's how we're discovering music. So it's like our tastes are so much wider. So I kind of like, a lot of artists have this perspective of like, oh, I have to make one sound and just like drive that home. But it's like I almost feel like people don't even listen to music like that anymore. So I kind of like wanted to create a concept of like, if I enjoy this shit and it's different, I enjoy house, I enjoy rock, I enjoy rap, I enjoy all these things, I'm just making music and essentially for people to just, hey, I like this one record, I'm gonna put this on my playlist. Hey, I'm gonna put this on my workout playlist. Hey, I'm gonna put this on my drive playlist. Hey, I'm gonna do this, all these different things. So it's like they can just kind of the world will build itself, and it's not all one thing. It's like music isn't, you know, one thing. People are so multidimensional. So it's like I just like different shit. So I'm sure other people like different shit. So I kind of been, for me, it's like trying to also make it make sense. It's like there's so much influence. Like, so you hear all these different musics. Like I make house, I make rock, I make all these different things. I make rap, like I make boom bap, I make whatever I feel like making, and it's like, how do you package that to make it make sense? And so that's what I kind of been doing, like in an exercise, and it's like kind of training the audience, because right now I'm so early in my career, so we're still trying to find out what works for me. So it's like, what's that shit that people really want to see? So like I've been just trying different shit. Yeah. And it's like seeing how it goes. You know what I mean? Like it's like I like making this album. I made a bunch of like Boys Are Out. It's like I made a bunch of music that I feel like would go well in the club. It was my effort for that. So like, let's just put that out.
Absolutely.
You know?
And I noticed how, like, what was it? It was recently this year that you just had a show.
Yeah, for sure.
And you performed. And how was that experience, just kind of being out there and performing for the new year?
Did a lot of shows. I've been doing a lot of shows like recently, which has been really a blessing. I love shows, so that's like my favorite thing. Like, so it's like it's been cool. It's cool doing shows now with the new project, because it's like I got slaps. Like I was telling you earlier, it's like I have songs now that's like, oh wow, if I want to, like, if I'm opening for some rapper or I'm opening for this person or this person, it's like, oh, I can throw out Trying Me if I really want to get the crowd moving, or now I can go into some other bags if it's like an artist that's like a more R&B act, or like, you know, like I'm able to kind of like open for anybody, because it's like it's just like the type of music I have now, which is really cool.
The emphasis of range definitely felt.
Definitely just, I mean, because it's like, I just feel like people are multidimensional. And at first I was like, oh, is this too crazy? You know what I mean? But then I also think it's like, I don't think I'm doing that different. It's almost like, to me, I'm doing the same thing on different beats, but it's not like, I don't think I'm doing that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's not that different. Like, I feel like you still hear me on the shit. So it's like, that's kind of my thought process, is like, I don't want to overthink it. It's like, fuck it.
Absolutely.
Like, it's there.
And I do want to get my flowers out. Jammy, being from the Bay Area, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna say this: you are like definitely one of the more unique artists that I discovered in the Bay Area.
Thank you.
Just because, like, there's a sense of passion that's felt into it. How do you feel the direction of Bay Area music is kind of trending upwards? Because
it's going great.
Like, if you notice, like, honestly, like, whenever you mention music, Bay Area music kind of doesn't get mentioned as much. No. So I just want to give my flowers out to all the Bay Area artists. But for you, on your perspective and your eye, how have you seen like Bay Area music progress on your end?
Oh, it's up. Right now it's up. Like, it's the niggas that like are ready to do it now. I feel like it's like we have so many great legends that open the door for us, like, that have influenced stuff that you wouldn't even believe. Like Pilo has done shit that's like, bro, he's influenced culture on such a mass level that it's like you don't even really know. And then you have someone like Seiji, or you have someone like LaRussell, or you have someone like Simon, or you have someone like Overcast, or you have someone like Michael, or you have someone like, you know what I mean? Like, the list can go on. And even when you even talk about, like, it's just, we're in the season. Like, and we've been in the season. I think a lot of Bay Area people don't realize that, yeah, people had to move to get it cracking, but like, hey, they got it cracking. Like, you look at someone like Dylan Wiggins. He's from Oakland.
That's a great pull.
That is the best producer in music right now, to me. Because he just, the songs he's working on, all that stuff. Like, to me, he's like one of like the pinnacles of music. Like, what else are you do? Bro, he's on stage playing Coachella with Frank Ocean. Like, that's a Bay Area art. Like, and it's also on the culture for not championing the ones that are there doing it. Because it's like, we've been doing it. Yeah. We've been influencing culture on a mass level. We've been doing stuff. And right now, it's crazy. Like, it's a great wave. Like, Seiji and all these different people I'm naming, like, they're creating this crazy wave. Like, the Bay doesn't have that same sound. The Bay has that sound. Like, you have LaRussell carrying that sound. You have P carrying that sound. But then you have other people ushering in new shit. So it's like, I'm excited. I'm honored to even be from here and like even just to be doing it. You know what I mean? That's one of those things. Like it's just crazy. It's a good time.
100%. And I know one of the songs that like really got me. Well, I always been tapped in, but one of the songs that I feel like was like a level up was "Trying Me."
Yeah.
And mentioning P-Wo. And I think for me, it wasn't necessary even because of the P-Wo feature. Like P-Wo with the chorus was everything. It was great.
Crazy.
But I feel like you and kind of their sound and how you were able to just have that flow and have that present stage on the first verse. You know, talk to me about that process and talk to me about how it came to be, because you know you did your thing on that one.
Thank you. So basically, I think it's more than anything. It's the Orange Pilo project. We are all kind of been working on those. So usually when P does like his writing camps, like I'll go because I'm really close to him and Calais and JR and all of them. So to have a good relationship with the team. So I just go to like the writing camps and just like see if I can contribute. You know what I mean? Like it's all like, for me, it's like I just look at him as such a pillar in the game that's just like, how can I help? And I like being in those rooms just to help, whether it's help writing, whether it's just being in the room. And so I think it was like 2-3 weeks. We were just locked in at the Zoo, which is a studio in Oakland. And we were just kind of like working on the project. Like everybody's just kind of contribute ideas, contribute verses, help people write hooks here, help people write verses here, you know, like just everybody's out there. And that was just one of the records that I think it was like maybe a weekend. I had been working at Yerba, so my Yerba time. So I wake up at like 5 a.m. Go to, like almost had to be at work at 5. So like leave house like 4:30, whatever, get there at like 5 a.m. Work till like blah blah blah, like 2 or 1, and then take a nap, then go to the studio like 5 till like 2 a.m. So you're just fucking cooked. But we had just done that, and that record had come on, and then I was like, yo, can I hop on this? This is like one of the weekend he had played the song, and I was like, yo, can I hop on this? Because I was just like, I'd always wanted like one of those beats, and nobody ever gives me those type of beats. Shout out to Casio because he be fucking with it. But most people don't give me those like crazy like trap beats. Like I always want them, but like I don't really get them because you know what I mean. People always like, this doesn't make sense for me. In their brain.
They're like kind of reserving those beats.
Yeah, it's just like they just don't see it. So it's like, hey, I don't know if I'm gonna let you slide on this like crazy beat because it's like whatever. But P was like, yeah, hop on it. So like I had did the verse, and then it was like one of those things that could have been on the album, could have not been. When you do these camps, you do a hell of records, and they just pick the best records that make the most sense for the project. And it just was one of the records that ultimately wasn't meant for the project. So he was just like, we've just been kicking it another time, a separate time, we were in the stew, and he was like, oh, you want this? You can have it. And I was like, oh shit, for sure. And I was excited about it because I really liked the record. I ended up just touching up the verse. I went to Different Fur like after work and just touched it up one other time, and then like just dropped it. It was just crazy, and it was cool. They let me do the video. Dakota and I kind of like collabed on that like fully, so that was really cool that they were even down to do the video. And me and P, I've known P for like 7 years now, so it's like really one of those like really really influential person in my music journey for sure.
Dude, it's so rooted, like, and I just want to say like you, P-Wo, Simon, all the Bay Area artists. I feel like more than anything, it's about community.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Isn't that the case? Like with the writing camps and
for
just
sure.
kind of exposing yourself. How important was that?
I think it's like you need to be around people that are sharpening your pen. I think it's like you can create so much by yourself, but like when you're in that room and maybe you're in a room with like someone like YMTK who's like an incredible writer. So like you might be writing a verse and then Murph might come in there and just be like, yo, what if you just took that word and flipped it here? And that takes a song from like a 6.5 to like a 7.5. And then maybe someone says something else here and then you get inspired because that flow change, and then it pushes the record further. It's like a lot of people are really good at certain things and not everybody's good at everything. So it's just like with anything, it's like it's really fun to create in that process. Like I also like, I like the dungeon and like making my shit myself and like all that. So I like that. Like I produce, like I'm dropping like the next song I'm about to drop, I produced the whole thing. So it's like I do it, but it's like it's cool to be around those people. I think it really helps you. It helps push you for sure.
Speaking of that, February is something exciting, and I think I'm gonna let you. I'm not gonna say too much, but tell us about what's going on in February.
So January 30th, we drop in Rig, which is my first self-produced project. Or that's first self-produced song. Sorry, my fault. That's the first song I ever did everything, so produced everything by myself that I'm about to drop. So I'm really excited about that. So we're doing that, and then it's going to be the first single off my project, Crash Dummy, which is like my take of kind of like a alternative sound. Something I always grew up wanting to make, so it's like I'm really excited about it. I think a lot of my melodies that I've done on my singing stuff previously is a lot of like alternative melodies and alternative flows, so it's kind of like just really like honing in on that sound, really locking in. So I really like it. I think it's cool. It's a different sound for me. It's more singing. It's not as much rap. It's just a good time. I think it's more emotional music. It's more vulnerable. I think there's a lot of musicality. I think in Boys Are Out there wasn't a lot of musicality. It was just hard beats. So this one has more musicality, and I think that's important.
Yeah, and with Crash Dummy, how do you feel in a sense? Like, was there any like lessons or anything that you learned along the way while doing that process, while going through that process?
I think I called it Crash Dummy because it's like, to be honest, bro, it's like you overthink it. Like, I think I overthink it. Like, I made Crash Dummy and Boys Are Out at the same time, and they're supposed to come out actually out in the same year. It's supposed to be like Boys Are Out, Crash Dummy, and then I want to do a house project. So it's like I'm trying to like hit it. I was supposed to hit them all, and I just didn't because I overthought it. And you get in these, you get into situations with other creatives, or you get in these things, certain things where it's like you start to get distracted. And I think it's like I kept crashing out, and it's like, bro, stop being a crash dummy and just get to work. And it's like stop
being a crash dummy
and get to work, bro. So it's like stop tripping off shit and just go. You know what I mean? It's like it's more of a self lesson. Like the records on there are like really emotional stories about whether it's rigged. It's just like just how I'm feeling. Like for me, I read a lot, so I'm like really into right now. I've been reading 100-Year War on Palestine. It's a really good book, and it's just been kind of just reading that stuff about the history of stuff and like understanding like our role as a country in those things and understanding what's going on now informed the information from previous where it's like, okay, this is what happened, X, Y, and Z. It just made me think about those things. So when I'm like on the record saying like, turning make you sick, it's like, it's because I'm like now like really like getting into that stuff and really trying to learn more about it. So it's just like, it's really where I'm at now. It's like, it's not like overthought music. It's just like, it's just kind of where I'm at right now. It's kind of like a timestamp of the things I feel like, whether it's like, fuck you, like, to be honest, respectfully, are some people. It's just, you know what I mean?
That's how it be.
And it's all love. It's just like, that's just kind of how I feel. But a lot of that, even with that record, it's like the lessons like I'm learning now, just, getting older, it's like, you can't be mad if people use what you give them. So it's like, people are taking too much from you, like it's because you're giving too much. Like you have to have that self-discipline and that boundary, and you can't really blame. And that's really what that song is about, is it's like, it's just like, hey, I don't want to like, I can't keep giving everybody all this stuff without giving anything to myself. And it's like, people will take what you give them. Yeah. So it's like, you have songs like that, and then Say None is just like, it's like, that record is like, for me, about being in like a relationship and you're trying to give a lot, but you're also so busy that you don't really have enough to give. So your partner starts to pull away, and you're kind of like, so it's just kind of like, those are just like little storylines of like that stuff. And Right Time is probably one of my favorite records on there. I don't know, like it's like probably the most me song, you know what I mean? Where it's like my sound, in my opinion, like that's kind of like that. But I like that song. That song is just like pretty self-explanatory, but it's just like, I really like that record. And like, so I mean, a lot of the songs I'm really happy about, like I really think that they're cool.
So I'm curious, are there any like other forms of art? It can be like, I mean, outside of music, it can be like from physical art. Like I know you're at D Young. Shout out to the Instagram post.
I do. At D Young.
Are there anything like that you take like outside of like other forms of mediums of art that you get inspired by?
For sure. Food is a big one for me, man. Food. Like, my boy, I am a foodie. Like, no cap, brother. I am a foodie.
You use food as an inspiration for music?
For sure.
I gotta ask how. How do you do that?
For sure.
How?
No, I actually spent like 3 years in culinary school, so like I'm really like into like food. And so basically, kind of the thing about food is it's like it's a transmission of culture. So you're learning about all cuisine is based on what's available in specific cultures. So you have something like Filipino food, right, where they use a lot of vinegar in their stuff. Vinegar helps clean things. So a lot of that is because they have to fish their food and all the things about the quality of things that are around them. So their cuisine is designed and based to like combat certain things, but it also creates this like unique shit, which is hella fire. Or Jamaican food, how it's like oxtails and all these different things that they're cooking, in the process in which they're cooking it informs you a lot about how they had to grow. My dad's from London, so like they eat a lot of beans and shit. And I know everybody hates on the beans and toast. I grew up with it, so
and toast.
I grew up with it, so I fuck with it. But I understand. I feel you fully.
Beans and toast.
I feel you, but that shit's it's good.
It's where you grew up. So
no, but it's like, but the thing about it is because they had so many wars, a lot of their food was rationed.
Yeah.
So because of the rations, that's where their cuisine was informed from like beans and like cans and shit like that because of the war. So it's like, I think, so to me, it's like you're learning more about the culture as you're kind of getting more into the cuisines from each culture. So I kind of think that's kind of like a big inspiration for me. I also like, creating clothes is cool, like merchandise and stuff like that. That's definitely one of my favorite. That and the No More Drugs hoodies. I don't know if you've ever seen those, but those are super hard.
No.
I don't even have one.
Do you drop them?
I did drop them.
Really?
I mean, like, of course, like 2017, how long ago? But yeah, I did do that. They went crazy.
Bring it back?
I thought about it because, bro, them shits was selling.
No,
like,
dude, you can make so much business. It's like I said, like, bro, you can make so much business selling merch.
No, I think so too, because I also think it's like I really care about like clothes and how they look on you, and I think it's really fun. Like seeing you wear a hat is just as cool as like, oh, you're listening to my music, but it's more cool because you're like taking something that I created and then it's like it totally is assigned to your identity and your total personality and your way of living. So it's cool to like add something, because I know what it is when I like a piece of clothing and I wear a piece of clothing a lot. It's like, oh, this is just now a part of who I am. So it's like cool to create that. It's the same feeling of music. I feel like it's really cool to like create that community too. It's like, I'm sure if you see, I mean, I don't know if you ever have, but I'm sure if you were outside and you saw somebody else with a hat, you'd be like, oh, that's our hat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're then creating this community of people that just like, you know, fuck
like,
with shit.
Like, it's so awesome because so many people ask me, like, where did I get this hat? And then
know.
I can just automatically, I don't even be sending them to the link. I'll be sending them the link to your Spotify.
Got to. You know what? My goal right now, I think, I wasn't going to redrop them, but even just like having conversations with people, it's like, yo, don't leave money on the table.
No, do it, bro. I'm telling you.
Like,
I've been telling you
I'm trying to quit my
it.
job, so you got to think like, dog, motherfuckers got to lock in. Like, what's up? We did I only shit, let's go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it isn't even that crazy, because it's like, for me, like, I do a lot of the work. I love the work.
Yeah.
So, like, I like creating the merch. I like getting on the phone with the designer. I like getting on I like drawing it. I like all that shit. And then after that, I'm kind of like, cool. Like, after I make it, I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
But then it's like, bro, you got to push this shit a little harder because, like, fuck it.
Like, no pun intended, it's about digging deeper.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I think that's really big on me right now, is, like, digging deeper. Like, you know what I mean? Like, locking the fuck in. It's like, just create at a high caliber quickly. Because I think it's like, I'm creating, the music is cool, but it's like the efficiency of how you're dropping is like what's fucking it up. So you need to be more efficient. So try to make that change.
Absolutely. And one of the other things I do want to talk about is definitely with like the visuals, because that's also another tool that you have in your bag that's also like really utilized. So how important is it to capture things on a visual aspect?
That to me is my shit. I think that the visual presentation of a product is really cool. And I think music is really like you are the product. So it's just like creating a world. And I think that like studying artists like Tyler, studying artists like Kanye, studying Beyonce, just like the way that they do these things, it's like there's so much intention behind everything. And like for me, it's seeing that intention and how do I bring that in? Because what happens is like there's so much deeper layers to it, right? It's like, for instance, like the light blue in the hat is also light blue in the Try Me video, which is also a consistent theme throughout the whole entire visuals of blue hue. So it's like maybe you assign, you know what I mean? There's so much thought that goes into creating the visual world because I love doing it. So it's like you think about, look at the color palettes, you look at this, then you look at the shot composition, you look at all these different things, and it's like, it's really important because it's like, I think it's a part of like, it's a part of everything. You know, it's a part of like creating that world. And I think to me, it's like, well, especially as I'm making all this different sounding music, creating the world is super important because if that music lives in that world, it doesn't need to make sense outside of the world if the community in the world grows. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like if that world, it makes sense and it's communicated clearly, I don't think it matters what's in the world because it's in that world. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I think another beautiful thing about it too, Miss, is that like if someone checks it out and kind of how you mentioned the blue hue theory, like, and how that is incorporated with Try Me, like if there's like another thing that a person spots from your music video, it's kind of like a satisfaction thing because it's like, oh man, I didn't discover this. You know, I wonder if like across his other visuals they have this, and it's just more like appreciation for art as a whole.
And it's just for the art, like, you know what I mean? I don't know if motherfuckers is really digging that deep into it, but to me it's like, hey, if I'm gonna dedicate my life to doing this, like I need to actually do some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me just take it up a notch. You know, like really try. And I think that's something that's like big to me. Is it's like, I think I just want to have my own wave. Like that's my desire. It's not like I don't really want to just be like, oh, I'm co-signing a wave, or like, oh, I'm working with the artist that's got a wave, or like, oh, I'm the feature on this. Like I want my own shit. Like that's really big. So even like the project like right now, I don't have any features on it. Like, and that's like not 100% intentional because I was supposed to have Sim on it, but like it's not working out with timing. But it's like it does make sense. My biggest project only had me on it. So it's like I think the owning your own wave is important.
It makes sense.
It really is important.
So I'll wrap it up with this. Outside of, Crash Dummy in February, is there anything else that you have in store It can be personal. It can be music related.
We are doing a listening party at a record store. I'll announce it very soon. I'm also doing a Red Heron show on the 28th of February, so please come through if you guys would like to. It should be really fun. It's got a cool little lineup. I think we're gonna do another Bay and LA show.
Oh yeah,
Gotta run that.
I need to actually like.
Yeah, I gotta run that. That was cool.
That was cool.
That was my first time ever routing my own tour. So like just being like, oh, I want to do my own mini tour. Like fuck it, let me just book this venue, book the acts, and just kind of like do it. So it was cool. Shout out to Sim and CeeLo for like doing that with me. You know, like to be honest, it's like one of those things like when you do shit like that, you're not really gonna make money off it. Either that's just the game. So it was cool for them to kind of all sacrifice some of their own bread and also just really be down for the vision of it. Simi went crazy in LA. Simi was like superstar. He's the GOAT.
I heard he went crazy in the Bay too.
He did go crazy, man. He's a GOAT, man. He to me is that's like one of my older friends. That's like a real homie of mine. Like when I go to LA, I stay at his crib like that on his couch. Like that's really one of my like friends.
And CeeLo too.
I fuck with CeeLo. CeeLo's another one from the Bay. Like I forgot to even mention him from the Bay. Like that's another one that's like taking it there fully. Visuals, everything. Like, bro, it's so hard.
No, yeah.
He does a lot. He did like the track listing for my last project.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he did the graphic design on that.
Dude, I didn't know that shit.
Oh yeah, no, we homies. Like that's really my guy.
Bro, no, that's sick, bro.
Yeah.
But with the other bicyclists coming in to wrap us up, shout out to the bicycles once again. Get that health up.
Health is my bag, and I need my bag.
Bro, I appreciate you, man. It's
Thank
a
you.
pleasure.
Of course.
Always tapping in, bro.
Of course.
You've been a pinnacle of not just helping, others being creative, but also myself. Like
Thank
I take
you.
a lot of inspiration from your work, man.
Thank
so
you,
it's a
bro.
pleasure.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you.
Absolutely. We're done.
Lovely.